knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
Well,
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Welcome to the show. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. I have with me Abena Afreeka. She is a social worker and a family therapist in Philadelphia, and she is starting what she call Abena's N-word, which is nigger, recovery program. I just say nigger one time so you know what it is. Abena's nigger recovery program, and it's very, very interesting. She's with me. She will be taking your calls on this issue. She believes that racism is what's affecting Black Americans today, not only in America, but around the world. She also has a poll on her website, and we're going to talk about that poll as well. Abena, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with me.
Well, greetings, and thank you so much for having me.
I do appreciate it. Let me first ask, were you born in America?
Yes.
Okay, and is this name Abena?
Abena. Mm-hmm.
Afreeka, is that the name that your parents gave you, or you came up with that name later in life?
That's my recovered name, yes.
Recovered. And recovered from what?
Recovered from European culture and influence, which we have been, sort of forced into through the process of slavery, enslavement, and colonization.
And when you say we, you're referring to Black people?
I'm referring to people of African descent, yes.
And so that's your recovery name. And how did the whites influence you, or Black people, period? Well,
they were, for all intents and purposes, our socio-emotional parents when we were brought here to America and points outside of our original home. Then we were socialized to think and behave in the way that they think and behave.
Let me ask this first. Are you a licensed therapist?
I am. My license is not current right now. However, I've practiced as a licensed social worker for like 10 to 15 years. My license is just not current because of circumstances. I've never lost my license for any problematic behaviors. It just is in a lapsed status. Yet I am a licensed clinician, therapist, social worker, and family therapist.
And you say that white Americans influence Black folks in a social behavior kind of a way?
Sure.
Explain that.
Well, just like when you were raising children, you teach them the language, you teach them the rules, you teach them the lay of the land that they have been born into or that they have come into. For people of African descent who were enslaved and also those on the continent who were colonized, white people taught us their language, their belief systems, and not only did they teach us, they forced it on us through TSHIT, traumatic stress of the human intentional type. That means they beat us, they raped us, they every type of traumatically stressful experience through abuse and adversity that could be experienced, people of African descent have experienced at the hands of white people since our connection with them.
And how about the Blacks in Africa who sold you, captured Black people, and sold them to the Arabs, and the Arabs sold them to the white folks. Did those black people traumatize you? Did those Arabs traumatize black people as well?
Well, in that regard, yes. This traumatic stress of the human intentional type. Anytime you intend to hurt people, then you are traumatizing them. You are setting up an adverse situation for them, and that's what happened. Now, in terms of blacks who sold us off, yes, that was all part and parcel of the same process. And
so, do we have to
today,
overcome them too? We have to overcome those black folks as well.
Well, it's not the folks per se that we're working to overcome at this point. We are all, black and white, dealing with the symptoms and dealing with the outcome of those actions and events that have taken place.
Well, I don't think white folks are dealing with it. It's just blacks won't. Blacks are not allowed to overcome.
Working with white folks, I'm clear that they are also dealing with the same thing. And I think when we look at the whole Occupy movement that took place, those 99%ers are saying, in effect, the same thing. That we are being abused, we are being mistreated by people who are in authority positions.
But do you trust those people? Those were lazy, thuggish, rapists, drug addict, lack of respect for other people's property.
People, and where did they learn those things from?
You trust those folks?
The thing is, where did they learn
Did you trust them?
Trust them for what?
To believe anything that they said or did.
I trust that people are going to hurt intentionally.
Because
hurt people hurt people. And if we do not repair the hurt and the harm that has been done, then it's likely to continue.
So you believe that a rapist, you believe that white people caused the problem that Occupy Wall Street people brought on as well?
Absolutely.
Amazing. This is according to Jet Magazine. You can tell me if this is true. You say there is no question that the N-word is one of the most controversial words in the English language, but could you be addicted to saying it? Social workers and family therapists Abena Afreeka think so. Did you say that, first of all?
Yes.
And do you believe that black people are addicted to saying the N-word?
I believe so.
And how did they become that way?
Well, again, they've been programmed to do that. Addiction, so first, understanding addiction and the nature of the disease of addiction. Number one, it's a disease of the feelings. People feel bad, they want to feel better. So they use these things that help them to feel better. With the N-word in particular, people, because black people have been programmed to think and behave like white people, and the way white people think and behave towards black people is to cause us harm, black people cause each other harm because that is what gives them a benefit, because then they get a benefit. The addictions, you get an immediate gratification from it, but you have all these long-term problematic effects.
If that's true, why is it that black people did not cause themselves and other harm in such a manner that they're doing today prior to 50 years ago when black people were really living under bad laws? When I come back, I'll let you answer that for me. 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Back in a moment.
Where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in
You and I must make a pact. We must bring salvation back. Where there is love, I'll be there. I'll reach out.
Abena Afreeka is with me. She is a family therapist out of Philadelphia, and she has launched the N-word recovery program. N-word recovery program. And we are taking your calls on this, 888-77-53-773, 888-77-JESSE. Abena, first, how did you lose your family therapist license?
I never had a family therapy license, and I didn't lose my social work license. It lapsed when I moved to another state, and I just was not using it. I just didn't renew it, so I didn't lose it.
Okay. Before 50 years ago, why didn't we see the black-on-black violence that we see today, out of wedlock birth, lack of education, laziness in the black community? When black 50 to 60 years ago had it a little tougher, well, not a little tougher, but they had it tougher than black people have it today. If the white influence didn't cause black people to act that way back then, why is it happening now?
Well, I believe it's happening now because we're just seeing the cumulative effects of the various laws, but first and foremost, it's the cumulative effects of all of the adversity that was experienced 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago, and all of those emotional wounds that have never been repaired, never been attended to. And this is the outcome of it. In addition, over the course of the past 50 to 60 years, new laws, new structures, new regulations, new drugs, all of these different things that continued adversity, just in a different form, continue to happen, and the people never had an opportunity for any repairing of that damage or reparations.
Did you go to college?
Yes.
Which one?
I went to Bryn Mawr College. I have a master's degree from Bryn Mawr. I have a bachelor's degree in mental health technology from the then Hahnemann University and now Drexel, master's degree in social work from Bryn Mawr College, and all but dissertation in couple and family therapy from Drexel
And
University.
did you have this same mentality before going to college?
You know what, Jesse? In large part, I probably didn't. However, because of my experiences and the knowledge and the research and the exposure to information that I obtained by going to school and going to college led me to see very clearly what has happened in this nation and what is needed to repair the damages that have been done.
And we're going to talk about what is needed. May I ask, what was your name before Abena Afreeka?
Abena.
Abena Afreeka. What was your name prior to that?
Joni. And
Wow,
why?
that sounds so much better and sweet.
Why? Get out of here, Jesse Lee. Do you know how much trouble I had with Joni being called Joni?
That sounds like a...
That is such a European name, don't you think?
It sounds like...
How many sisters of African descent do you know named Joni? But it's good. It's okay.
It sounds like American apple pie.
Right. And however, I'm a woman of African descent. Now, how crazy is that?
You write that here is a... let me ask, did your parents agree to this name change?
My mom supported it. My father had more of a difficult time with it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Women,
Right. Me either.
not all, but most women tend to accept wrongdoing more so than a man would.
How is that wrongdoing? I believe that we live in a nation that supports us and our right to be who we are as individuals. So I'm not sure how that equates to wrongdoing by adopting a name
Because
that the person sees as more like them. Abena is simply for Tuesday-born children, and I'm a Tuesday-born child. So how is that wrong?
Because in all reality, this is silly, in that you are born an American, and because of your hatred for white folks and for this country, you are rebelling. And your dad knew, and I don't know your father, but the fact that he rejected your so-called African name, he knew you were rebelling. He tried to guide you in the right way to go, but you listened to your mother, and now you've taken the wrong path, and you're going to suffer greatly for that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing, Mr. Jesse Lee. as a woman of African descent in a system of racism, white supreme lunacy such that we live, I'm already suffering. People of African descent are already suffering and have suffered, and in large part because we have been force-fed the cultural beliefs of the European.
Amazing. If the African way works, why don't we see it working in other parts of the world? It's not working anywhere, including Africa. If that is the right way, why is it's the shining, bright light that we all would want to follow?
It doesn't seem to me that European culture and influence, this thing called democracy and so forth, has been globalized. Colonization begin to wipe away and erode our original ways of thinking and behaving in the way, and now the whole planet sort of operates based off of European cultural thought and behavior. And so those things are no longer in place, and they have not been in place in their sort of original form for a very, very long time.
Are you married?
Yes.
You are married to a black man?
Mm-hmm.
And is he the head of you?
Is he the head of me?
Yes.
No.
He's not.
Probably not in the way that you mean it. We are partners. He's not the head of me. I'm not at his foot. We are partners, and we work together.
So he doesn't guide.
Each other.
He doesn't guide you in the right way to go.
That's not his role and his job. I'm guided by a greater spirit, universal spirit that many people call God. I call it something different.
Are you a Christian?
No.
And do you believe
And it's like yes and no. Everything is both and.
And why is that?
And as a systems, family therapy as a systems thinker, I recognize the connection of many different things that influence and inform our behavior. It's never just one thing or one part of a thing. It's always both and.
You said that you were suffering. So you're not. Do you have children?
No.
You don't have. Yeah.
No.
Good.
No.
Do not.
Yeah,
As long as your husband.
The thing is, because I don't have children of my own, that puts me in a position to be mother to many, which I am.
But
so
as long as your husband is not
to influence and assist a whole lot of people.
As long as your husband is not your head, do not have children.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Right.
Let me ask. You said that blacks are suffering. How are you suffering due to this so-called racism?
Well, you know what?
Let me take a break, and then we'll respond to that and take some calls at 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Just a quick reminder, I am back, by the way. Emails and Facebook comments are coming up in the top of the hour. A quick reminder to endorse my second Emancipation Proclamation for whites, freeing them to speak honestly about race issues. Go to my website at bondaction.org. bondaction.org. We have until May 4th to get 100,000 signatures. 150 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation freeing black slaves from states that had seceded from the Union, it's now time to free white Americans. And white Americans got to get over the fear of speaking up when it comes to the issue of race in America, because here's another perfect example of how black racist people are never going to get better until white people say no more. It just goes on from generation to generation. So you got to start speaking up, black Americans. Otherwise, your kids and their kids and their kids and their kids and their kids will suffer due to fear, and black people will continue to complain about nothing and take away from white Americans. So go to bondaction.org. This is for everybody to sign the Second Emancipation Proclamation for whites, freeing them to speak honestly about race issues. All right. I have with me Abena Afreeka. She is a social worker, family therapist in Philadelphia, and she started this recovery program to overcome the N-word. And Abena, this is our final segment. You were only scheduled for 40 minutes. Are you able to stay longer?
Not much longer because I do have to work.
Oh, okay.
But I would like us to be able to have a much fuller dialogue about this, because I agree that talking about race for blacks and whites is imperative, because we know that remembering and telling the truth about terrible events are both prerequisites to restoring social order and healing individual victims.
Let me say this. I'm coming to a short break here, and I have one. Can you stay one more segment after that?
What's a segment? I can stay at least till 10.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fine.
Later.
No, that's enough. That's more than enough.
Okay.
I want to ask, how are you suffering personally due to racism?
Yes, because people have not been healed, and so hurt people.
No, how
people.
are you personally
but that's
suffering?
What I'm telling you, because of the actions and activities of other wounded black people, and because they behave just like white people do towards black people. White people hurt us, black people hurt us, because nobody has been healed.
But black
really
people
from
were
it.
not hurting black people or anyone else for the most part prior to 50 years ago. They were upstanding, hardworking, family-oriented, treated people the way they would like to be treated, black Americans. I would think that you were.
What do you think happened?
Black people turned their lives over to the government, and the government became the daddy.
How
and
did
they
they
corrupt,
do that? How
and
could, how could they
hold on
do
a minute.
that?
Hold on.
How could they do
hold
that
on,
if
Abena.
the government didn't
Abena,
support
let me
it?
answer the question.
Go ahead.
And then they took the fathers away. The father left the home so that the women could get the paycheck from the government. And then they turned their lives over to the corrupt so-called civil rights leaders, and have been downhill ever since. Black people are suffering, not all but most, due to the lack of moral character. It has nothing to do with racism at all. Blacks are immoral.
I guess the question again is, how did they get that way? And
I just told you why.
I agree that they are immoral, and I've agreed that they learned those immoral behaviors
Not true.
from white people.
Yeah, how come? Why is it that more white people are married and their children are not born out of wedlock than there are black people?
I have no idea, and I don't know that those
You said they got
statistics
those
are
habits
correct.
from white people. No. Stay with me. Stay with me.
I am with you. 'Cause
You
I'm
just
gonna let
said
you
that they
know.
got those those habits from white people, but yet more white people are marrying and having their children under the umbrella of marriage than blacks are. So
Right, 'cause
if
white
they got
people have had
habits
an
from
opportunity to heal.
What?
White people tell their tragic stories. White people get support
Abena,
when
you
they
don't
have
really
had
believe what
tragedy.
you're saying, do you? You don't believe what you're saying.
Listen.
This is a joke, right?
The traumatic stress of the human intentional type. When you remember and tell the truth, when you help the victims, then the victims are allowed to heal. White people have been able, and they've been at this thing in terms of harming themselves and each other and us for much longer than
Lord
we
have mercy.
It's newer to us. Look at Lloyd DeMott. They documented all of their stuff.
Abena,
So
let me
that's why
take
I
a
said when
quick
I went
break.
to-
We'll do one more final break and come back and take a few calls here. Back in a moment.
Let's get it rolling now. Let me sing this song to you. Might be old and it might be blue. Might be
Okay, welcome back. Abena is my guest. She's a therapist, and she started this program, Racism Non-Anonymous program, to help overcome the N-word. The blacks been traumatized, quote unquote, quote. Here's an example of a quote from Abena's website. I am Abena, a victim of racism who is enslaved in America. And she spelled America, Amerikka. and a representatives from the voice and the margin. I recognize that our enslavement to European culture is a process of rubbing the black off of us in its place. It's pink and white, representing the blood and the body that is exposed. And I am raw, ready, able, willing to tell my story my way. Abena, this sounds like a joke to me. When I read this, it doesn't sound real. It sounds like a joke. I keep laughing at it because it's like the joke has been taken too far. Have you ever gone to Africa?
Yes.
You have gone. What part?
Ghana.
Oh, yeah? And why didn't you stay there?
What do you mean?
When you went there, why didn't you stay in
Why
Africa?
didn't I stay?
Yes.
Insufficient resources to support it. And that's how people get traumatized, when they don't have sufficient resources to meet their needs. Because that's why Mom and folks used to say, don't go out in the street against the red light, because you don't have rubber bumpers. Rubber bumpers would protect you from the impact of a vehicle.
But if blacks in Africa
and so when you don't have support or resources to protect yourself and or to do the things that you are working to do, then you incur, a hit.
If black and Africans are so smart, why don't they have the resources?
Because white folks took it.
But if they were so smart,
the resources, they took it.
if they were so smart, were they smarter than white people?
I don't know. What do you think?
It seemed like the answer would be no.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
smarter? Because I always think in the regard,
were they smarter than white people?
With causing intentional harm to people, we don't seek out and intend to take from other people. We didn't naturally seek out to take and hoard resources. We didn't naturally.
Let me ask: were they smarter than? Are blacks smarter than whites?
I don't know.
You don't.
At this point,
maybe that's what you should be looking at.
Why?
Because,
what difference does that make? Because it's like dealing with the immediate need. It's like first things first. Let's stop hurting each other. Let's begin to tell the truth about the terrible
But this
events.
is not the truth, though.
Let's begin to tell the truth about how this nation was formed, which was causing intentional harm to a group of people for the benefit of another group.
Amazing. Let's go to Patrick out of Los Angeles. Patrick, oh, he's gone. Let me ask, before I go back to the phones here, there's a poll on your website. Reparations owed to Africans on behalf of their ancestors who were enslaved in the West. You say reparations are owed to black people today?
I believe, yep.
You believe so?
Yeah. And see, reparations
in what form?
It's not just limited to money. Reparations means to repair damage.
In what form?
And I'm talking about repairing psychological damage.
Here are the choices.
In what form? We need money to be able to do the work to help the people.
You need money. But we have given you guys
stop those immoral behaviors.
We have given you people money for the last 50 years or so.
Well, no, but then they've also been in charge of the money too. So while they give it, then they dictate how to use it, where you can use it, when you can use it.
That's amazing.
And that becomes a problem.
Let's go to Patrick out of Los Angeles. Patrick, you are with Abena.
Good morning, Jesse and Abena.
Oh, hey, Patrick.
Hi. Just a quick point, Abena.
It's Abena, please.
This is Abena.
Yes, Abba.
Abena.
The E is silent.
See, this is why you should have a normal name.
Okay. No, this is fine. It's the E is silent. Come on, Patrick.
You should have a normal name
Patrick,
instead of this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to see your guess so I don't trip up. I think you're really doing a disservice to black people because you are telling them, wait for white people to do something for you instead of overcoming something yourself. And I understand that you're not a Christian, but I am a Christian, and Jesus Christ, the reason his message is so empowering is because he didn't wait around for the Romans to get better. He didn't wait around for the Jewish authorities to get better. He simply understood he needed to forgive and overcome.
Patrick, are you able to understand him? His phone is not clear.
Yeah, I did. I heard him.
Go ahead. Respond.
Well, it's just interesting. It refers to Jesus and Christians and what they said because, I just had consumers tell me yesterday they pray and wait. Everybody says we pray and ask for God what we want. However, you have to be patient and wait for God to answer and give it to you or not. So that's one. Number two, to the suggestion that I'm doing blacks a disservice by telling them to, I'm not. I'm saying let's take an active stance. Yes, your behaviors are out of order. It's immoral. It's problematic. Now let's begin to do something to heal yourself so that you can stop the foolishness. That is my message.
But you're begging and blaming instead of telling them to overcome immorality.
Well, how do you overcome? So again,
by forgiving, by getting married, by working hard.
Overcoming.
By working hard, getting married before having your children out of wedlock. Stop hating white folks and others.
But see, the thing is, you have to deal with the illness. They are mentally
Forgiveness
and emotionally.
is the illness.
They are mentally and emotionally damaged, and when people are mentally and emotionally damaged, these are the behaviors.
No,
so
they're
the
spiritually damaged.
To address the mental and emotional harm, in order to adequately address it, you have to understand where it's coming from.
Oh my God.
I mean, a cardiac surgeon has to see where the damage in the heart is in order
let me tell you
to repair it.
Hold on for a minute. Let me tell you where the damage is. The damage is in the hearts and minds of black people in that most of them are racist. They are hateful. They're judgmental. They don't, and their mothers have set them up to be that way from generation to generations. Because, as you said, your husband is not the head of you. If you had children, you would destroy your children. And then they would go out and blame it on Whitey instead of blaming it on you and their father. I'll let you a final break here. I'll let you give out your website right after this break. Okay, welcome back. Emails and Facebook coming up in the next hour, taking your call. There are callers on the line with different issues, so we're going to just take your calls after the top of the hour break here to those callers who are on hold. I mean, I want you to hear this. Here's what I offer black people who want reparation, and I'd like to get your response to it. Hold on a moment.
We call ourselves black men with African garb on.
Greetings, Afro-America. Are you a victim of white racism in America today? Does the thought of another white president scare you? Have you ever found yourself hating every iota of a cracker?
Every last iota of a cracker, I hate it.
Well, get your chicken and waffles to go, because the Bond organization is hosting a Back to Africa ocean liner adventure. For a limited time only, get the reparations you've had coming to you and head home. Navigated by the same white liberals who already control your lives every day.
Food stamps, unemployment insurance.
Take a seat in the bottom deck and get rolling. Negro spirituals will be presented throughout the trip, and complimentary seawater will be served hourly. Watch as all your issues disappear upon arrival to your old home. Enjoy a simple, carefree life, as you will no longer have any rights or liberties to worry about or protest for. All of these benefits can be yours, but once on board, there is no going back. One-way tickets only, and we wish you the best on your new life journey. To sign up, register at bondaction.org with your contact information. Bond is not responsible for malaria, yellow fever, HIV/AIDS, gonorrhea, animal bites, infection, starvation, violence, tooth rot, gingivitis, rash, or black-on-black slavery.
How do you respond?
Well, it's an interesting way of sort of minimizing and marginalizing the terrible experience that happened, number one. Number two, yes, send me back a one-way ticket. I'm with it. However, the problem has been that white people have already been over there and sort of destroyed the land.
Oh, Lord.
And
so there's nowhere to go.
That's true. So that's why we all need to stop collectively and begin the process of healing and recovering.
Let me get a quick call.
The tragedies.
I have a caller who has a really good question. We only have a minute or so left.
Yeah.
Mike from San Antonio?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Real fast, Mike, with your question.
To your guest, there's been a trial in Philadelphia of an abortion doctor who
killing kids after they were born.
A black
Does she
doctor
have
killing
any-
black babies.
No.
Exactly. Does she have any intention of going and helping those black women who that doctor has traumatized? And I got family. Actually, I got cousins that live in Philly. Does she live in North Philly, in the black neighborhood, or does she live in Germantown like Davey is? That neighborhood.
No, I grew up in the hood, North Philly, West Philly, South Philly, all over, and I would love to be able to work with
Do
those
you still
folks
live
to
in the
help
hood?
them.
Do you still live in the hood?
Actually, I do.
Are you going to reach out to help those women who had those babies and the doctor
See,
killing?
the thing is having sufficient resources. So I would love to get
So
the
you're not gonna
support
reach out?
and the funds to be able to establish the centers, the NRP, in order to provide the services to the people. That is absolutely what I am here for.
Thank you,
and
Mike.
I
What's your
absolutely-
website? Real fast, your website.
www.afreekalive.com.
Thank you, Afreeka. I appreciate it. Back in a moment.